Hello and welcome to section 5. In this section, we'll work on the styling of our application and make it more appealing. In the process, we'll learn how to use Bootstrap for building the front end of our application. All right, so let's take a look at that real quick. So I'll navigate to my app. And then start the server. Okay, if I click on preview, this is what my home page looks like. It's not very appealing, and this is one of the first things we're going to work on. And we're going to install Bootstrap and start working on this, but before we do that, we have to build a mock-up of our home page. Okay, we have to do a little bit of design. No matter what application you're building or working on, it always helps to basically put your ideas to a design, no matter how preliminary they are, to get started. All right. So I'm going to show you the tool that I use. So I'll go over here and type in balsamiq.com. Okay. I use this wireframing tool. It's very easy to use and it's made my experience of building mockups very enjoyable. Okay. Now, you can download a free version. This is not free. It costs a bit of money. There are a lot of other wireframing tools available out there. I'd recommend just using Google to look up wireframing tools that you can use for free. But this does have a 30-day trial period. Okay, so you can use this. You can either download it or use the web version for 30 days without needing a credit card or anything. I think 30 days is a good amount of time to get used to building mockups and all of that. Okay, I downloaded the desktop app. So here it is. This is what it looks like. And then you can click on the top over here and this plus button to create a new mockup. Okay, and basically you have all these tools. You have all these things that you can basically pull down to your design. So let's say in this tab, big, right? If I want a browser, simply grab this and pull it over here and you have a web page. And then you can write what you want over here. See, if I double click over here, it says web page. Well, I'm going to change this to alpha blog. Okay. And it changes to alpha blog. And then you can drag it around. Then let's say I want some text over here. So I'll click on the text tab, bring in a subtitle, and then just say hello alpha blog. Okay. So it's, as you can see, then you can move this around. Super easy to work with. And then if you want to preview a full screen version of it, on the top right here, full screen presentation, click on it. There it is. All right. You can preview any mockup that you've made. All right. So that brings us to your first homework assignment of section 5. Using either Balsamiq or any other wireframing tool, or if you prefer, just use any design tool that you want and build a mockup of what your homepage would look like. Now our current homepage looks like this. Let me scroll over there. This is what it looks like. Come up with a wireframe design. Now it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? It doesn't have to be spot on. It just needs to be some kind of sketch of what you envision your homepage to look like. This is what I came up with really fast. I'm going to pull up my mockup. I was playing around with this right before recording this video, and this is what I came up with. So I'm going to click on preview. So over here, I'll have a nav bar, then I'll have a big jumbotron, probably an image, and then I'll have a footer of some kind. Okay, this is what I came up with. Okay, go ahead, mock up a homepage design, and once you're done, copy an image of your mockup to the discussion area, okay? So we can take a look. Okay, great. And in the next video, we'll get started by installing Bootstrap in our application. See you there. Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to install Bootstrap to our application. So first, go to this link. It's github.com/twbs/bootstrap-sass. Okay, we're going to install the Bootstrap Sass gem to our application. If you can't remember this, that's fine. Just simply Google Bootstrap-sass gem, and this is one of the first links that will show up. And this is the Bootstrap Sass gem. It makes the entire Bootstrap library available to use in our Rails application simply by installing this gem. So we're going to follow instructions for Ruby on Rails over here. First step is copy this line, gem Bootstrap Sass. Copy the first line fully. You don't need to have the second line copied because your application already comes with it. Okay, Sass Rails, your application already comes with it. So first, in your application, go to your gem file, and right over here where it says use SCSS for style sheets, above Sass Rails, I'm just going to paste the gem Bootstrap Sass that I copied. Save that. What does it say to do next? Okay, then it asks to bundle install. So let's do that. And it also says one more thing. If your server is running, to restart your server, but our server is not running, so I don't have to do that. So first, I've saved my gem file, bundle install -- without production, hit enter. Okay, now Bootstrap is installed. Now next step, what does it say? We're going to scroll down over here. We will not follow this instruction. We're going to use a custom.css.scss file where we're going to store all our styles. And then it says over here in your application.js file to do this. So let's build our custom CSS SCSS file. All right. So go to app, assets, style sheets. Over here you have your application.css file. This is your manifest file, okay? Here it says require tree, require self, meaning it's going to include whatever other style sheets you have underneath it, and it's going to include that through this application.css file, okay? So over here, I'm simply going to right click, new file, and I'm going to call this custom.css.scss. Okay, and pull up your custom CSS SCSS file. We have to do a step here. We have to import Bootstrap there. Okay, so over here, these two lines, import Bootstrap -sprockets and import Bootstrap. So I'm going to copy these two, Command C. Don't forget the semicolons afterwards. And then I'll paste it over here. Save that. Okay. And then the next step is to add this line that says require Bootstrap sprockets under jQuery. So I'm going to copy this, Command C. Here it has very clear instructions, and this is an error that's made sometimes where you require Bootstrap sprockets and Bootstrap in here. We don't have to do that. We just have to require Bootstrap sprockets. Some installations have just require Bootstrap. It has to be one or the other, not both. Okay? Anyway, so over here, under assets, JavaScripts, application.js. This is also a manifest file, but this is for your JavaScripts, okay? All your .js files. It's going to include, if you have other files that you use, it's going to include that and make it available for your application through this file. So right here where it says require jQuery and then require jQuery UJS, right underneath it, okay? It's important to put it right underneath jQuery and jQuery UJS, Command V, save that, okay? So paste require Bootstrap -sprockets, save that. And then that's it. There are no other instructions. So that is all we need to install Bootstrap to our application. So if you want any custom changes to the library that Bootstrap makes available for you, let's say if you wanted a different color for your navigation bar than what Bootstrap sets through the Bootstrap library, you would do it on top over here, on top of the import Bootstrap sprockets and Bootstrap in your custom CSS SCSS file. What am I talking about? We'll take a look at it when we start building our homepage in the next video. But before that, let's make a commit to our Git repo. So git status, and you'll see that we added this custom CSS SCSS file and we updated the gem file. The gem file.log file got updated when we ran bundle install, and we also updated the application.js file. Okay, so git space add space dash capsa git commit dash m install bootstrap within quotes, hit enter. Okay, git push to push our code to our GitHub repository. Perfect. So that's what I wanted to cover in this video. In the next one, we'll start building our homepage. See you there. Hello and welcome back. In this video, we'll start building our homepage. First file we'll need to look at is the application HTML ERB file. So if you go to app, views, layouts, then application HTML ERB, this is basically a wrapper file for all the views in your application. This part right here where it says yield, this is where all the other views over here, whatever folders and views you have, all of your other views in your app get served in this area through this yield. What am I talking about? Let's take a look at it. My server is running over here. If I preview my application, first you'll notice that the styling over here has changed. That's because we added Bootstrap. So by default, even without doing anything, it made the text look a little better. Okay? Now this is what it says. This is the home page of my blog app so far. Over here, that is being served through this page right here, the home.html ERB. Now this is getting served through this yield. And don't take my word for it, let's test it out. Over here, I'll just say hello on top of it. So if I go over here, reload, notice how the hello shows up. Now this hello is going to be on every page. If I click on about, notice the hello's there. Home, hello's there. That is what I mean about the wrapper file. So basically any code you put in the application HTML ERB will show up on every view of your application. Okay, so because of that reason, this is normally where I'd start building the navigation for our application. The nav bar, which usually resides on top, I'd start building that over here in our application HTML ERB file. But the idea is to try to keep this application HTML ERB file as clean as possible, okay? So I'll build the navigation in a separate file in a navigation partial over here. So I'll create a new file called _navigation.html ERB, and I'll build the navigation over there. And from here, I'll simply render it, okay? So over here, under body and over where I say render layouts messages, I'll say embedded Ruby equals render layouts / navigation. Close embedded Ruby tag. Okay, so for this to work, I need to create a partial over here. So in the layouts folder right here, right click, new file, _navigation.html.erb. Okay, and first let me save my application HTML ERB, and I'll go to my navigation. So let's fill this in. So I'm going to go to getbootstrap.com website. Okay, so getbootstrap.com. Then go to components, and on the right here, there's the link for navbar. Click on it, and there's the default navbar. And if you scroll down, there it is. This is the navbar that I'm looking for to add to my application. And to get this navbar, this is the code that you need, all this code. So I'm simply going to copy this, which will copy to clipboard. And then I'll go back here, and then I'll Command V to paste it. All right, save that. So let's see what that did. So over here, I'm going to reload this page. Boom, there it is. There's my navbar. It has all these links. If you click on drop down, this works. If you click on this drop down, it works. Of course, none of this goes anywhere, but there's a navbar. So first thing I'm going to do is change the color of my navbar. And remember, in the last video, I had said to change the default color, you'd have to go to your custom CSS SCSS page and add it on top of that. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to say string, so $, navbar dash default dash BG colon, and here you can put in the color that you want. And if you're looking for a specific color but you don't know the code for it, just go to a HTML color picker. You can just Google it and type in HTML color codes, and it'll give you multiple links where you can come up with a code for it. All right. So I'm gonna paste the code right here. This is dark blue. So let's see if that worked. Now this, you have to make sure this is on top of these import bootstrap sprockets and import bootstrap. Okay. So let's try it out. Reload. Perfect. There's my blue. The next thing I'm going to do is right here, this link looks like it's default selected. I'm going to get rid of that. So back to my navigation. If you look for it, you're looking for an li active, okay? Li class active. That is what causes this to be a different color, as if it's selected. So right here, if you scroll down, right here, li class active. So I'll get rid of this class active part and simply leave it as li. Command S. Reload. Perfect, that's gone. Now I want to work on this brand. I want this to say Alpha Blog, which is the name of my application. So I'll go to my navigation again and look for where it says brand. Okay, now it's not important to know and understand all of this that's going on. Okay, you'll get used to it. What's important is to recognize and find things that you are essentially searching for. So brand over here, right here, I found it. There it is, brand. So I'm going to change this to say Alpha Blog. Save that, reload. There you go, it says Alpha Blog now. All right, but now I want to add some styling to this. This looks just like any other. I want to add some different styling to this. So first thing I'll do is over here where it says navbar brand, I'll give it an ID. So ID equals, and I'll call it logo. Okay, so ID equals within quotes logo. Now I can style this. And where will I style it? As you know by now, all of our styling goes here in the custom.css.scss. And the way to refer to an ID is by starting with pound or hashtag. All right, so pound logo. If you're referring to a class, let's say if logo was a class, you would say dot logo. Okay, but since this is an ID, pound logo. All right. First I want to do is float colon left semicolon, and I want to increase the font size. So I'll say font size colon 1.7 em colon. Then I want to change the color to white. So color colon pound FFF, which is short form for color white. And then I want all the letters to be uppercase. So text dash transform colon uppercase semicolon. Then I want to change the letter spacing. So letter dash spacing colon -1 px semicolon. And I want to make it bold. So font dash weight bold and then semicolon. Save that. Now this is all CSS, so there's really not much to explain here. I basically played around with different settings and I came up with one that I liked. So I'm gonna reload. Okay, much better. Okay, now I'll add something else over here. Pound logo colon hover, and I'll say color pound FFF semicolon text decoration text dash decoration colon none semicolon. All right, save that. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to ensure that when I click on this, if I click on it, notice how it goes nowhere. If I click on it, I always want it to go to the root route of my application. Okay, so let's add that. We're going to add the link, or actually there is a link already. I'm going to change that. So again, we look for it right here. It says A class navbar brand ID logo href, and then the href to pound. This would be the link, right? Now I'm going to turn this to Ruby code. And this is how you can take standard HTML like this and convert it to embedded Ruby. All right, so embedded Ruby tag equals, because it's going to display, and then I want it to be a link. So link _to, and I want it to say alpha blog. Then I want the link, which would be root _path. That would be the link that it goes to always. And then I have to give it the class and the ID. So comma, class, colon, space, within quotes, I'll say navbar, brand, close quote, comma, space, and now the ID, same thing, ID, colon, space, and I'll say logo. Close quote, close embedded Ruby tag, save that. So these two are almost identical. This is embedded Ruby code. The only thing different between the two of these is this link is going nowhere and this link is going to the root path. So I'm going to get rid of this now, this line. Save that. Reload this. Okay, now if I click on it, root route, if I go to the about page, this is the about page. If I click on this again, it's back to the home page. All right, perfect. So my root route's working. Now the next thing I want to do is notice how there are lots of links and drop downs and lots of things happening. There's a search bar. Now at this point in my application, I don't know what else I'm going to use for it. Okay, so I'm going to leave them as is. I'm not going to change anything. The two things that I do know that I'm going to do is I'm going to have a link to go to create new article, and another link that goes to my articles path to view all the articles. Okay, right now if I click on this, it goes there, right? But I want that link to be in my navigation. So let's add those. I'm going to change one of these links to that, and under drop down, I'm going to rename this to action, and then the first one I want to go to new article page. So let's build those. So first, I'm looking for this. That's the link. So back to my navigation. Here it is. It says link, right? This is the first one. So I'm going to convert this to Ruby. First, I'll have the li, then embedded Ruby tag and an equals link to, and then I'll simply say articles because that's what I want to say on top, comma, articles path, since I want it to go to the articles path, close embedded Ruby and close the li. That's it. So I'll get rid of this. Save that. Go over here, reload. Perfect. There's the articles. If I click on it, it goes to the articles path. Okay, good. Now drop down, I want to change this to actions, and the first action I want it to be new article. So let's look for drop down. So there's a link. And right here, we have our drop down, right? So I want this to say actions. And right here is the first action. This one I'm going to convert to embedded Ruby. So li, open embedded Ruby tag equals link to, and I want it to say new article. And then I want it to go to the new underscore article underscore path. If you've forgotten what these paths are, just do rake routes and it'll give you the path. Okay. Now close embedded Ruby tag, close the li, delete this, save that, go back here, reload. Perfect. It says actions. If I click on it, new article, click on it, goes to new articles. Okay, back to articles listing, actually back to my homepage. Perfect. Now that's all I'm sure of at this time about my navigation. So next I'm going to switch my attention to the homepage. First, I'm envisioning a Jumbotron over here. What is a Jumbotron? If you go to Bootstrap, and then over here it says Jumbotron, click on it. I want this structure to show up in my homepage. Okay, so the code to do that is right here, div class Jumbotron. So let's add that. But where would we add it? Where would we add this? We would add this in the homepage because we want this to be our homepage, right? So the view that we're going to update is pages, home, HTML, ERB. I'll get rid of this where it says this is the homepage of my blog app, and I'll give it a div class equals, open quote, I'll simply say Jumbotron. Okay, close the div tag. Then I'll give it a h1 tag and say alpha blog, then close the h1 tag. And then I will switch this link to, instead of going to alpha blog, I'm going to make it go to sign up now. Leave this empty. I don't have a path for it. So I'll delete all of this. I'll just leave it as an empty link right now. But I want to give it a class. And the class I want button and button dash primary and then button dash large. Close quote, close embedded Ruby, and then close the div tag. Save that. Let's see what that looks like. Reload. Okay, good. So there's our Jumbotron. Now notice how this spans all the way from the left of the page to the right, and there's like no room here. This isn't looking very good. So to counter it, what I can do is put the yield. So every page that gets served, I can put it in a container. All right. So let's do that. Back to our application HTML ERB. This yield over here, I want to move it one down, and over here I'm going to say div class equals, open quotes, container. Okay, close the div tag right here, save that, reload. Perfect. Look at the spacing it added on the left and the right, looking much better. Now the next thing I want to do is move this to the middle. All right, so alpha blog and sign up now, I want these to be in the middle. So how do we do that? Over here, back to our home page where it says div class Jumbotron, I'll give it another class. I'll say center and space Jumbotron. Now it's gonna have two classes, this div, a center class and Jumbotron. All right, so let's build this center class. Over here in the custom CSS SCSS page, the way to reference that is dot center, since it's a class, then open curly brace and close curly brace, and within it I'm simply going to say text dash align colon center semicolon. Save that, reload. Perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. So that's as much as I wanted to cover in this video. In the next video, we'll continue working on the body of our homepage. All right, see you there. Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to continue building our homepage. So first of all, let's get our server running. So rails-s-b 0.0.0. Okay, and I'll reload this page. Okay, perfect. Now, what I want to do first is I want to add an image to my Jumbotron, okay? In the background where it's just gray, I want to add an image to this. So how do we do that? Over here, if you look at your home page, you're referring to this as div class center Jumbotron, right? So if you go to your custom CSS SCSS page and add some styling to this, so dot Jumbotron, you can actually add the image over here, okay? Now, to add an image, first we have to load the image to our application. And the place you put your images are right here, App, Assets, Images, okay? So I'm going to right click on this images folder. Whoops, I seem to have lost connection to my container. Okay, it's back. So right click on images, then upload files to images. Here, put in an image that you want. So I'm going to add an image. All right, so I've selected a file. Now click on upload. Okay, so the image is added. So now I can refer to it. So the way to do that is in Jumbotron over here, type in background dash image colon space and then asset dash URL open parentheses quote and then the name of the file, okay, including the extension. So my file's name is newcoverpage.png. So I'm going to say new underscore cover underscore page dot png. Save that. And then let's see what that looks like. Reload. Okay, so my image is pretty big. As you can see, it didn't fit in my Jumbotron. It's like all the way to the right because it's so big. So let me add some code to fix this. Over here, you can say, first of all, I'll add a semicolon over here, and then you can say something like this, background dash size colon cover, semicolon, save that, reload. Okay, much better. Now at least the width is set. But now I want the height of the Jumbotron to be taller. I want this to be bigger, okay? How do I do that? Over here, I can simply specify the height. I'll say height colon 550 pixels, semicolon. Save that. Reload. Okay, much better, looking much better. Now look at this name I have over here, Alpha Blog. I want to change the styling of it. I want to make it look better. How do I do that? Over here, I can simply say dot Jumbotron space H1. So I'm calling the H1 tag, which if you look at home, Alpha Blog is in the H1 tag. So I'm saying for Jumbotron's H1, I'm going to say color colon pound FFF semicolon text align colon center semicolon margin dash bottom colon 30 pixel. And again, you can play around with this as you like. Letter dash spacing colon -1 pixel semicolon, then font dash weight colon bold semicolon. All right, save that. Okay, it looks much better. Now let's look at this button. This button for sign up now. This color, this background is just not working. So let me find this button. And if you remember, this is in the home page. So back to my IDE, I'm going to go here. Here is the button, sign up now. And it says button large. I'm gonna give it a button dash X large. Okay, so I'm giving it a new class, and over here I'm gonna say .btn dash X large, and then I'm gonna add some styling for that. I'll say font dash size colon 1.7 em semicolon, and then I want the background dash color colon to be black semicolon. Save that, reload. Looking much better. But when I hover over it, see how it turns blue? I don't like that, so I'm going to change that. Again, back to home, button primary. Let me change this to button danger. Save that. Reload. Whoops, looks like something's happened to my connection. Oh, okay, my session has unexpectedly closed. So that's not good. I'm going to close this and then open a new terminal. cd code rails projects alpha-blog rails s-b 0.0.0.0. Perfect. All right, reload the page. Okay, now if I hover over it, it's red. Perfect, and it goes with the background. So play around with this and make it work for your background image and however you like. But you kind of get the idea of how to do that. Now the next part I want to do is, notice here this blue background doesn't work with this image I have and this button. I want to change this to black. So I'll go over here, back to my custom CSS SCSS page. And right here, I'll just change this to black. Save that. And I think navbar inverse gives you black anyway, but I wanted to show you how to basically change the color of the navbar. Reload. Perfect, looking much better. All right, my links and everything still works. Now the last thing I want to do is add a footer, okay? So footer is going to be present on every page. So just like we did with the navigation, I'm going to go to my application HTML ERB, and right under this div for container, I'm going to put an embedded Ruby tag equals, and I'll say render layouts / footer. Okay, close embedded Ruby tag, save this. So this is going to look for a footer partial. So over here under views, layouts, right click, new file, underscore, footer.html.erb. Pull it up. So let's create a footer. I'm going to first give it a div class equals within quotes container. Close the tag. Then I'll give it a footer class equals footer, and then small. Now I'll fill in some content. Feel free to put in whatever you like here. I'm going to say copyright and copy to get the copyright symbol, semicolon, then ahref equals within quotes https://www.udemy.com, close quote, close the tag, the complete Ruby on Rails developer, close the a tag, /a, and by ahref equals http://www.masroorhossain.com/ close quote, close the tag, Masroor Hossain, close the a. Okay, now close the small. Okay, Then I want a nav tag. Okay. Then UL, unordered list, and then LI for a list item. I'm going to say embedded Ruby equals link to about, close quote. And I want this to go to the about path. Now I've forgotten what my about path looks like, so I'm just going to do rake routes. Okay. About. So it's simply about path. Perfect. So we'll say about underscore path, close embedded Ruby tag, close the line item, close the unordered list. Now, if you have multiple pages in your app, you could just add them as list items here. Okay. /nav to close the nav tag. Then let's close the footer and let's close the div. Okay, save that. Let's see what that looks like. Reload. Okay, so all the content's there. Now let's work on the styling. So I'll go to custom CSS, SCSS. All right. So footer, and I'll say margin dash top, and I'll say 45 pixel, semicolon. I want some padding, so padding top, colon 5 pixel, semicolon. Then border dash top, colon 1 pixel, solid, pound EA for the color, semicolon. And then the color, colon, pound 777, semicolon. Save that. Reload. Okay, so the color's changed, and then the border is there. That's good. Now I'm gonna give it footer a hover, and I'll say color colon pound 222 semicolon. Then I'll say footer small, and I want it to float colon left. If you're wondering where the second part is coming from, remember over here we said small for this, so I want this part to float left. Okay, and then some styling for the list. So footer UL, I want this about or any other links I add here to be on the right. So footer UL float right, semicolon, list dash style, colon, none, semicolon. Save that. Reload. Okay, it's right there. So over here, I'll say footer UL list item and float colon left semicolon, and then margin dash left if I want to add more items, 15 pixel, semicolon. All right, save that. Now if I reload, okay, good. Now back here, connection timed out. That's not good. Okay, my server's still running, so that's good. All right. So now my homepage is looking pretty good and it looks complete. And that's all I want to do to it at this time. Once I have more links and more actions, then I can add them as I need. But for now, it looks pretty good to me. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and make a commit. So I'll just go to this link and shut down my server. Okay, now git status. All right, so I've modified a few files and I've added a few ones right here. So I'll say git add dash caps A, git commit dash M. I'll say create homepage and add links, close quote, hit enter. Now git push to push our code to our GitHub repository. All right, perfect. Now at this point, I want you to take an image of your homepage and paste it to the discussions. And this will also help you because you did the mockup and you posted an image of that, and then now you're gonna have an image of the homepage to kind of see how mockups eventually turn to pages like this. All right, so that's all I wanted to cover in this video. I'll see you in the next one. Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we'll continue styling our app's front end. So I have the server running, and over here, I have my application on preview. What we're going to do is style the new and edit form submission, so the form template, okay? So when you click on new article, right now, we're going to style this form. But before I do that, I would like to make a correction to something I did in my last video when I was building the custom CSS SCSS page. Over here, I have a spelling error for the footer. So it's going to be margin top, not marrying top. And if you follow the text document that I provided after the last lecture, that one actually has this corrected. Okay, so let's start working on our form. And the form is going to be in your app, views, articles, this form partial right here. So that's what it looks like. It has the errors on top, and then here's the form builder, right? The form for helper. So let's style this. For the styling, I'm going to go back to the Bootstrap page and look at forms. If you go to CSS, right here, there is a link for forms. If you click on it, I'm going to look over here, and right here, horizontal form. This is the format that I want for my title and description, okay? So here's the code for it. Now we're not going to copy paste this code this time. We're going to take the styling from here to build a form that looks like this. So we'll have all of the classes, but we will do it with embedded Ruby, okay? So first thing, here it says form class form horizontal. Now be very careful not to include this class on top, because this form for is essentially a form builder, so it'll create a form tag for us. So this form class over here, form horizontal, will include this within our form for code over here, and I'll show you how to do that later on. The reason for that is your form for will generate a code for the form, and then if you give it another form tag, you're going to have two essentially conflicting authenticity tokens, and Rails basically won't accept that. You'll be stuck with basically an error on your server, and you'll basically not be able to move out of this new form submission page. So something to keep in mind. I learned that the hard way some time ago. So let's start working on this. So first thing, it says div class form group, and this is going to be for, if you look at it right here, this email, this will be a form group. Then you have a form group for password. So this part will create this, okay? And then you have remember me, which we're not going to do right now. Then you have the submit button right here, which is another form group. So back over here, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a div class row. We're going to ignore this errors portion for now and start over here. So first, div class equals row, okay? And then we want it to span this entire length of our containers. So remember, Bootstrap has a grid system with 12 columns. So I want it to span all 12 columns. So I'll say div class equals call dash md dash 12. Now I'm going to have all of this within that. So I'm going to close those two div tags so I don't forget later on, div, and then close them. All right, and then I want to tab all of this over. So command and right square bracket twice. Okay, so here, form 4, article, do F, that's fine. This is where we'll add the form group. So over here, I'll say div class equals form dash group. If you look here, this is what it says, form group. And then it says class call sm2 and then control label, right? So let's do that. So first of all, I'm going to change this from MD to XS just to be consistent. And over here from form group, div class equals control label call dash sm dash 2. All right, so let's see what it says next. And then it says the label, right? That is the label for email. So now I'm going to have the label, which I have over here. So I'll get rid of this p tag, which I don't need anymore. I don't need this br tag either. Now I'll close this div class right here. So div. Okay. Now next thing it says over here, div class call sm10 and then input type email, placeholder email. So let's do this. And to say div class equals call dash sm dash 10. And then I'll have this field, the input field over here, which is type text field. And now I have to give it a class. So I'll say class colon within quotes form dash control. And where am I getting that? Notice over here, it said to say form control. So that's what I'm doing. And then placeholder colon space within quotes title of article. And I'll put in auto focus colon true. All right, within embedded Ruby tag, save that. Then I'll close this div. And then I'll close this div for this form group. So this div is closed here, this div is closed here, and this one is closing form group. Okay, and then we had closed the other two divs down here. All right, so let's see what that looks like. We're here, I'll reload this. All right, so we have some styling going, that's great. First, immediately I know this is way too long. I don't want it this big, okay, this input field. So I'll make that smaller. I'll make this 8. Save that. Reload. Okay, much better. Back here. Now we'll do the same thing for description. So I'll simply copy this form group and the control label, Command C. Right under this div, I'll do Command V. Tab this over, get rid of the BR tag, then close that div. Now for description, we simply had this, so I'll do that. Command C, Command V, tab this over, close the div, oops. Save that. So over here for description, I have to give it the class form control again. So class colon within quotes, form dash control, then placeholder colon, I'll say body of article. Okay, and close quote, close the embedded Ruby tag, save that, get rid of this p tag, save that, reload. All right, it's not looking that great yet, but at least the box is there. Now the box, this body of article, it's too small. I want to make it bigger. I want to increase the number of rows. To do that, simply over here, say rows colon 10, comma, save that, reload, bigger box, perfect. All right, back here. We're going to close this form group right now for description. So all right, now the submit button, same thing, div class equals form dash group, close tag, div class equals, now here I want to say call sm10, close the tag, tab this over, and I want this to be a button. So f.submit, then I'll simply say class colon within quotes button space button dash primary and button dash large. Save that, close embedded Ruby, close the div, close the form group div, get rid of this p tag, save that. Okay, now this is a little too much to the left. I want to move this over a little bit. So I will do call dash sm dash offset dash 2. Save that. Okay, that's a good place for it. Now let's work on this. The reason this is looking this way is because we didn't say form horizontal, okay, which is what this form requires. But we couldn't do it on top just by adding this tag. So what we're going to do is in our form 4 right here, which is our form builder, we're going to add the class here. So we're going to say form 4, open parentheses, at article, comma, then space, colon, HTML, space, equals right arrow, which stands for hash rocket, space, open curly brace, and within it we'll say class, colon, within quotes, form dash horizontal. This is where we give the class, and then comma, space, role, colon, within quotes, form. Okay, close quote, close curly brace, and then close parentheses, which is this one. All right, now let's see what that looks like. Save that. Over here, reload. Perfect. So we have create an article, we have title, description, create article, back to articles listing. Looking much better. Now here we have this create an article all the way to the left, so let's fix that. That is in my new.html ERB. Right here where it says h1, I'm going to say h1 align equals within quotes center. That should work. Reload. Okay, that looks very good. So now everything is aligned except for here where it says back to articles listing, because I have my root route over here. What I want over here is a link to cancel the request. What if the user no longer wants to create or edit an article? I want them to have a link to cancel and move back to articles listing. So let's add that. So back here, we'll go back to our form, HTML ERB. At the bottom, this is where we have our link to back to articles listing. So what I'll say here is cancel request and return to articles listing, articles path. And over here, I will give it a div. So div class equals call dash access dash 4 and call dash access dash offset dash 4. Close quote, close the div tag, tab this over one, and then close the div, save that, reload. Okay, this looks good, but I want some brackets here to make this stand out a little bit. So let me add that. Over here, I'll just say open square bracket, space, and then at the end, space, close square bracket. Save that, reload. Perfect, that's what I was looking for. Cancel request and return to articles listing. Now the form is complete, and this is for creating an article, but since it's a form partial and edit articles using the same thing, it should work for edit as well. So I'll go over here and simply say articles, let's say 7/edit. Hit enter. Okay, editing existing article. Here we have the same alignment issue with our edit article template. So I'll go to edit article over here, H1 align equals center. Save that, reload. Perfect, edit existing article is working, and it pulls up the existing title and description. Cancel request, this is working. Update article, this is working. So let's test it out. I'll say this is a new article, edited, and then this is description of new article, edited. Update article. Article was successfully updated. But notice here how this message now doesn't look that great compared to our form. So that's something to keep in mind to update. Okay, now let's test out our new form as well. So articles/new. This is a new article for testing form submission test with Bootstrap styling. Okay, create article. Okay, article was successfully created, so that's working too. Back to articles listing. There's that new article I just created, and there is that article that I edited. Okay, so along with the flash message, which was lacking some styling when the article got created, another thing that I want to show you is if I go to articles new and say create article, I have my validation errors, and this lacks some styling as well. So in the next video, we'll style these along with the flash messages, okay? But before we complete this video, let's move back to our terminal and we're going to make a commit. So Control C to shut down the server. Now git status. Okay, these are all the things that we modified. Git add -a, git commit -m, and the message I'll give is style form partial. Close quote, hit enter. Perfect. Now git push to push our code to our repository. All right, great. I'll see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to continue styling our application. Namely, we're going to work on the messages partial, which displays the flash messages, and the errors, the validation errors, okay? So first we'll start with the validation errors. So over here under articles, form.html ERB, let's pull it up. This is currently what's styling our errors. So I'll pull up my Rails application, my server's running, and here it is. This is what the validation errors look like. So let's go ahead and style this. First thing we're going to do over here, if article.errors.any, we're going to give it a div class equals row. Then div class. Now this time I'm going to go a little bit faster because now you're a little more used to seeing these tags and where I get them from, which is the Bootstrap site. So if you need to look anything up, feel free to check out the getbootstrap.com site. So div class equals, within quotes, call dash XS dash 8, and then call dash XS dash offset dash 2, close quote, close the tag. The offset basically moves grids on the left. Over here, it moves them to the right based on the number of grids you give it. Okay, so we're saying 2 grids to the right. Then we're going to utilize another class in Bootstrap, which is called panel. So div class equals panel, and we'll say panel dash danger. And then div class equals, within quotes, panel dash heading. Then h2 class equals, within quotes, panel dash title. And then we're going to basically add some styling to this part, to our embedded Ruby. All right, so we're going to use a method. So open embedded Ruby tag equals. Now the method I'm going to use is pluralize. Okay, at article.errors.count. So at article.errors.count will give me the number of errors we've hit. Okay, and then I'm going to give it the word error. So what this pluralize method will do is we'll take this word. If I get one error, it'll say error. If I get multiple errors, it'll say errors. Okay, that's how this method works. Close parentheses. Actually, I have an error here. I'll remove the parentheses from here. There you go. Close parentheses, close embedded Ruby tag. Then we're going to say prohibited this article from being saved. Then colon, close the h2 tag. Whoops, close the h2 tag. Then we want the error display. So div class equals, I'm going to say panel dash body. And this is also Bootstrap. Then I want an unordered list. And within embedded Ruby tag, I'm just going to copy paste this now at article.errors right here. Command C. Command V. Okay, so at article.errors.fullMessages.each do MSG, which is short for message, and then the li over here, embedded Ruby to display the message, close li, and then end the do block. And I'll close the ul tag. Then I'll close the div tag. Then I'll close the 4 div tags here. Row, this, and this, the panel heading. All right. So we'll say div / div. So that's 2 / div. That's 3. And then / div. That's 4. And then I'll get rid of this. And this end over here ends this if branch. All right. Save that. So let's see what that looks like. Over here, I'm going to go to articles new. Perfect. So there's the display. 4 errors prohibited this article from being saved, and it displays the errors. So that's just the way I want it to look. Let's test it out for edit articles 2 / 7/edit. And let me delete this title. Update. Okay, so it's working. Perfect. Cancel request. All right. Now, the one thing about this error portion right here, if at article errors any, and the styling that we added to it, we're most likely going to use this through the rest of the application. Okay? You can kind of tell from the way it looks over here and then the way it looked in our browser that we can use this for other resources as well, not just for articles. So I'm going to extract this to a partial right away. Okay? So right now, over here under views, I'm going to right click and create a new folder, and I'll call it shared. All right? And within shared, I'm going to right click and create a new file and call it _errors.html.erb. And then I'm going to copy this part over here, Command X, go to this errors.html.erb, Command V, Command S to save it, and back to the form, I need to refer to that partial. So I'm going to say render space within quotes shared errors. Close embedded Ruby, save that. Let's see what that looks like. Over here, I'll go to action, new article, create article. Perfect, it's working. All right, now back over here. Next thing we need to look at is notice how we're doing this for article and we're dealing with an @article object. So when we're rendering the errors partial, that @article object is nicely flowing through to the errors partial, so we can have code like this, which refers to @article. But if it's going to be a shared resource, if we're going to share this errors partial, we need to get rid of this @article, okay? Because the next resource, let's say users, will definitely not have @article. So let's put this as something more generic. We'll just say obj, short for object, and then change all the references to @article with obj. So obj over there, then right here, obj. All right, and save that. But now we need to say what this obj is. So in our form, render shared errors, we're simply going to say obj : space @article. So if we were doing this from users form, for example, we would say obj : @user if we're dealing with a specific user. All right, so that's how that would work. So let's see if that works. Make sure you save the file. Go back over here, articles/new. Okay, create article. Perfect, it's still working. Okay, back to our IDE. Now the next thing I want to do is work on my Flash messages. Okay, so if you go to articles, layouts, and your messages partial, which is this, it simply displays whatever you put in your Flash message. So right now, if you pull up your controller and then articles controller, here we refer to Flash notice. And again, Flash notice in the update as well. And then in the destroy, Flash notice. So this Flash notice is what gets printed out via this partial. All right, let's style this so it looks better. So the first thing I'm going to do is give it a div class of row. Then I'm going to give it a div class equals call-access-10, call-access-offset-1. Then this flash.each do name message. That's okay. This is where a little bit of code comes in, and you have to be very careful with this. Div class equals, I'm going to give it the class of alert, and then alert dash Now this, notice how the format is right here, like call dash, alert dash. Now what kind of message it is will be in this name right here, in this name object, all right? So if I say flash danger, that danger will be the name. If I say flash success, success will be the name. Alert, and then embedded Ruby equals, within quotes, I'm going to say pound. Whoops, my connection timed out. That's fine. So I'll go back here. First, make this single quote, okay? Alert, alert dash, then embedded Ruby equals double quote pound, then open brace, name, close brace, close quote, space, close embedded Ruby tag, close the single quote, and then close the div tag, okay? So right here, div class alert, alert dash, whatever the name is, right? Which could be success, danger, whatever we give it, and then close your embedded Ruby tag, close the single quote, close the tag. And then we want a little X to close that display. So a href equals, within quotes, put a pound, class equals, within quotes, close, space, data dash dismiss equals, within quotes, alert, close quote, close the tag, and then the display for that X is and pound 215 semicolon. This will display the X, okay? Then close the A tag. All right, now embedded Ruby tag again, content underscore tag, space, colon div, comma, message, comma, colon ID, and then hash rocket, which is equals, and then right arrow, space. Here we're going to give the flash name. Within quotes, say flash underscore pound open brace name close brace close quote if message. So this message is underscore a question mark within parentheses string caps. Okay, so the S needs to be caps. Close parentheses, close embedded Ruby tag. Now let's close the div. Okay, alignment got a little messed up right there. Okay. Let's get rid of all this. Delete. There's the end for my do block. And let's close the div tag. Let's close the top div tag. Okay, save that. So let's see what that looks like. But before we do that, we have to give it appropriate name. So in the articles controller, when we say flash notice, we have to replace the notice with something else. Let's say colon success, okay? Then update, we'll say colon success. In the destroy, let's give it another color. Success will give you green. So for destroy, let's say danger to give it a red background. So save that. Now let's see what that looks like. Back over here. Actually, I'll go back because my connection timed out, so my server is no longer running. Over here in the next terminal, we'll type in Rails s-b 0.0.0.0. Okay. Now let's go to articles/new. Hello, new article, and then testing flash messages, create article. There it is. Article was successfully created. Perfect. And there is that X on the right to close this panel. All right. Now let's test out edit. So articles, let's say the same one, 16 edit. Hello, new article, testing Flash messages, edited, update article. Article was successfully updated. Now back to articles listing. Let's try a delete. Over here, testing Flash messages, edited. I'm going to delete that. So click on delete. Are you sure? Okay. There it is. There's the reddish background that I was talking about. So article was successfully deleted. Perfect. Close that. So my Flash messages and my errors partial are both working correctly. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and make a commit. So Control C to shut down the server. I'll do git add -a, git commit -m, within quotes, style, errors, and messages partials. Close quote, hit enter. Now git push to push our code to repository. Perfect. And that's all I wanted to cover in this video. I'll see you in the next one. Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to work on the show view for our application. So I have my server running. If I go to preview my app, if I go to my articles listing, each article has a show option. So if I click on the show option, here's my show article page. So we're going to style this page right now. So back to our IDE. If you look at code, Rails projects, Alpha blog, and then scroll over to app, views, articles, show.html ERB. This is the page that is being displayed here. So let's update that and add some styling. So first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this. I don't need a title that says showing selected article. That could simply be the title, which is the title of the article. So I'll move this up and then h2-align equals center. Then title, article title, close the embedded Ruby tag, close the h2 tag. Save that. That should be my title. And then get rid of this extra p tag. Now if I reload the page, okay, much better. Now let's work on the description area. I'm going to get rid of these p tags. Okay, I'll give it a div class equals, within quotes, well, then call XS-8 and then space call XS offset-2. Close the div tag. And then within the well, I'm going to give it a h4 class equals, and then I'll put it in the center. And I want this to say description. So in bold, strong description / strong, and then close the h4 tag / h4, and I want a colon after description. And after that, I want a line, so HR, and then I want to display the description. So over here, I'll get rid of this part that says description. Can simply say embedded Ruby equals article.description. Save that. Reload. Okay, much better. Now back here, I'm going to put this article description in a simple format method. Simple _ format. And then open parentheses, put add article.description within it, and then close parentheses. What this will do is it'll display the formatting that you use to create the description of an article. Okay, for example, if you have returns and tabs, whatever you use when you save the description, it'll display that formatting. Okay, so looking back, this is how it looks. What I want to do is I want to change the way this looks. See, this is the description of the article. I want to move these to the bottom. So let's do that now. Over here, I'll move this up and I'll say a div class, and I'll give this a custom class within quotes, article dash actions, and close the tag. And I'll style article actions very soon. So embedded Ruby equals link to edit this article, edit article path article. That's good. And I want to give it a class. So class colon within quotes button space button dash XS space button dash primary. Close quote, close embedded Ruby tag, get rid of this pipe that I have. Then the next tag, it says link to back to articles listing, articles path. Now I'll change what this says here. I'll simply say view all articles, go to articles path, and I'll give this a class as well. I'll say class button dash XS button dash success. So it gives it a green background for the button. Save that. Then let's close this div tag, and we'll close the div tag on top. Save that. Reload the page. Okay, looking much better. Now let's add a delete action here. So back over here, I'm going to add it after edit. So I'll say embedded Ruby equals link to within quotes delete this article, close quote. Then article path, you have to give it the article you want to delete. So within parentheses add article, close parentheses. And then as with delete action, you have to specify the method. So method colon space colon delete. Then I want a confirmation. So data colon space open curly brace confirm colon within quotes, are you sure you want to delete the article? Question mark. Close quote, close curly brace, comma. And the last thing I want is class colon. I want this to be a button as well to stick to our styling theme. So button space button dash XS and then button dash danger. Since it's a delete action, I want it to be red. Close quote, close embedded Ruby, save that. Now here, you don't want a line to look like this, okay? And what I like to do is I like to move the lines down after a comma. So after method delete, I'll move this down one, tab it over, and then after this comma, I'll move this down as well, and then tab it over. Okay, save that. Let's look at how it looks. Okay, so edit article, delete article, view all articles. Now let's work on our custom CSS SCSS page to add some styling. So here we have the div class of article actions. First, I'm going to add styling to that. And for that, remember all of our styles are in assets, style sheets in custom CSS SCSS page. So above footer right here, I'll say dot article dash actions within curly braces. First thing I'll do is border dash top colon 1 pixel and then solid and then the color of the border. So pound EA. That's the color that I've been using. I used it for the footer as well. So semicolon. And then the next thing I want is padding dash top colon 5 pixel semicolon. Save that. What this will do is, if you look at the show action, above these buttons for the actions, it'll put a border. All right. So let's reload and see. Right there, there's my border, and then I have the action. So there's a separation between description and the actions. Next thing I want to style is right here. There's too much space on top. I want to decrease the space. So I'll go back over here. So here's my description. I'll give it a class description along with center. So description, save that, go back to custom CSS, SCSS. Under article actions, I'll say dot description, and then I'll simply say margin dash top colon 0 semicolon. Save that. Over here, so I want to decrease this margin. That's what I just added. Let me reload the page. Perfect. So now it's decreased. Looking much better. So that's all the styling I want to add to my show article page right now. So I'll go back and then make a commit of my code. So over here, Control C to shut down the server, git add dash caps A, git commit dash M. Within quotes, I'll say add styling to show template. Close quote, hit enter. Okay, now git push to push our code to our repository. All right, perfect. Now in the next video, we're going to work on our articles listing page. Okay, so under view, articles, this index, which has all of our articles listed, we'll work on styling this page. All right, I'll see you there. Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to work on our articles listing view. So first thing, make sure your server is running and then click on preview. Okay, we're going to work on this articles listing view. Now this page is being served from this views articles index.html.erb file. Okay, so let's go ahead and style this. First thing, I like this title, listing all articles, so I'll keep it the same, but I'll align it to the center. So H1, align equals within quotes, center. Then I'll get rid of this P tag. And then create new article. We don't need this anymore because we have that in our navigation now. So I'll get rid of this. I'll get rid of this table with title, description, and all of that. Okay. So first thing right here at articles.each, do article. This can remain. And I'll move this to the left. Okay. Now I'll give it a div class equals row. Then I'll give it another div class equals call XS -8. And then call -XS -offset -2, close quote, close the tag. I also want it in well format, so div class equals well, and then well-lg. And the last thing I want to do is I want to give it some custom styling. So div class equals article -title, close quote, close the tag. And then within this, I'm gonna get rid of this tr, and then this td, don't need this anymore. Save that. So article title, but I don't simply want to display the title. I want to say link _to article.title, and then article _path within parentheses article. So basically I want the article title to be a link, and I want it to go to the show article page. So when users view an article, they can simply go to the article by clicking on the title of the article instead of having a show link later on. All right, I'm going to close the div for here. Okay, then I want to display the body. Div class equals, and I'll give it a custom class, article dash body, close quote, close the tag. Now this is my listings page. Okay, so if I have a big article description, I don't want the entire description to show in my listings page because then each article will take up too much room. So I'll use this method. Instead of simply saying article description, I'm going to move this up. Here's my article description. I want to truncate this. So I'll use this method called truncate. Truncate, and then put article.description within parentheses. Close embedded Ruby, get rid of this TD tag. Along with article description, I have to say what length I want it to truncate to. So I'll say comma, length, colon, 100. And you can choose whatever you want here. Okay? Then I'll close the div tag. And then the last thing I want to do, right here, you have the edit, show, delete. These are the article actions. Remember, in the show page, I had the article actions displayed as well. So I'll get rid of this, all of this, and then I'll pull up my show HTML ERB. Here are my article actions, okay? And I'll just copy all of this. All right, Command C, and go back to index. After this div, say Command V. So article actions, and then I'll tab this over. First link, edit this article is fine, and I want the same button. Next one, delete this article. This is fine also, so I'll tab it over. Now I don't need this last link, view all articles, because I'm already in the viewing all articles page. So I'll get rid of this. And then another thing I have to update, remember we're iterating through each article in the add articles object, and then we're referring to each one as article, not at article here. So I have to get rid of the at. Save that. Then I'll tab this div over. Then I'll have to close the div class of well. So I'll close that. Then I have to close the div tag for call XS8. So I'll close that. And lastly, I have to close the div tag for div class row. And then tab this over. Okay, so that should close all my div tags. And then the articles.each do block is closed by this end right here. So I'll move this over, and I don't need the table closing tag. Okay, save that. Now let's see what that looks like. I'll go over here. Here's my listing articles. I'll just click on it to reload. Okay, there it is. Listing articles. Now here's my title, which is a link, and this will go to my show articles page, and then back to my articles listing page. Okay, so there's my description. So now let's work on the styling for these two. Back to the IDE. I referred to the title as article title and the body as article body. So I'll pull up my custom CSS SCSS page, and under description here, I'll enter in the styling. So dot article dash title, and then dot article dash body. Okay, so let's work on title first. I'm going to say font dash weight colon bold semicolon font dash size colon 1.5 EM semicolon. Save that. reload. Okay, much better for the title of the article. Now back here, let's work on the body. First thing I'll do is give it a border on top. So border dash top colon 1px solid pound EA for the color, semicolon, then padding dash top colon 15 pixel semicolon, then padding dash bottom colon 15 pixel semicolon. Save that. So that's my styling for the article body. Let's see what that did. Reload. Perfect. So I have a border top. I have some padding on top and padding at the bottom. So now it's looking much better. If I go to the article, the show page is working. If I go back to view all articles, okay, let me delete this article. Are you sure you want to delete this article? Okay. Article was successfully deleted. Let me go ahead and edit one of the articles. I'll change this one's title from AAA. I'll edit this article and say this is an edited title. Update article. Okay, article was successfully updated. Now let's test out deleting this article from the show page. So delete article. Are you sure you want to delete this article? Okay. Article was successfully deleted. Perfect. So my listing articles page is looking pretty good. So back to my IDE, I'm going to shut down the server and make a commit. So git add -a, git commit -m, style articles listing page, within quotes, hit enter. Now git push to push our code to our repository. Perfect. Now that's all I wanted to cover in this video. In the next one, we're going to deploy our app to production and wrap up section 5. See you there. Hello and welcome back. So we've arrived at the conclusion of section 5. Now let's go ahead and deploy our application using Heroku. So the first step, ensure that you have no uncommitted changes. So I'll check that by typing in git space status, hit enter. Okay, so I have no uncommitted changes. Now the command to deploy our app is git push Heroku master. Okay, hit enter. Now it's deploying to Heroku. Okay, deployment's complete. Now the first step is to run the migrations. So I'll type in Heroku run rakedb : migrate. What this will do is run any migration files that have not been run in production as yet. Hit enter. Okay, perfect. Now let's go to our app and check it out. So right here, here's the link. Command C. This is where I was running my local. So Command V. Okay, perfect. Here's my production application. Everything looks good. The image looks good. The footer looks good. The navigation looks good. Let's go to our articles listing. We only have one production article. Okay, it's right there. Let me edit this article. Third production article, edited. Update article. Article was successfully updated, so the Flash messages are working correctly. That's good. Then I'll go to view all articles. This is all articles. If I click on this, it goes to my show page. Then if I go to new article, let's create a new article. I'll give it a title of new article in production, and I'll give it a description of testing production article creation process. Click on create article. Article was successfully created. Perfect. Now back to viewing articles. Let me test out deleting article path. Delete this article. Are you sure you want to delete this article? Okay. Article was successfully deleted. Perfect. Close that. Now I'll click on this to see if the route route's working. It is. All right, perfect. So our application as it stands so far in development is now deployed to production and working very well. Now at this point, I want you to copy the link to your Heroku app and then post it to the discussions area so we can take a look. All right. Now with that, we come to the homework assignment. Okay. And this is going to be a homework assignment to start section 6. So pull up Google and type in active record associations. Okay. And check out the link that shows up that says guides.rubyonrails.org. Click on that. Okay, this will bring you to this page about associations. Now, starting section 6, we're going to work on users for our application. Right now, we only have articles, and there will be a relationship between users and articles. And it's going to be a one-to-many association. So over here, under chapters, where it says the has many association, I want you to read up on this. Now, there's no need to understand everything that's going on with it, but simply read through it. The one-to-many association is one of the basic associations that you'll be working with in Rails at all times. And with that, we've come to the conclusion of section 5. Congratulations, you've come a long way, and I'll see you in section 6.